So far, everything that we have done has been purely immutable, or rather, we've created classes that are immutable in the sense that you can't change their properties once they have been instantiated. So, this isn't how the majority of classes are written in Java or other object-oriented programming languages. In fact, I would say that's not how the majority of them are written. But they do have their respective places. Okay, so it's not correct to say that they have no purpose, and in fact, in modern versions of Java, there is something called a record, which is basically the same as an immutable class. Okay, so what exactly am I talking about when I mention immutability? Well, like I said, all all instance variables that we care about in, let's say, the point class are final. Well, like I said, what if, what if we do want to actually change the value of an instance variable? Well, then all we have to do is just get rid of the get rid of the final attribute. And now we will change all of these variables to be lowercase instead of uppercase. Because remember, I said that final variables should be named with uppercase, and non-final variables should be named with lowercase. Okay, so not sure why that was being weird. There we go. So that changes all of the occurrences of it, so I don't have to go through and look at them myself. But that hasn't really done anything yet, because we still have no way of actually changing these values. So what do I mean by that? I mean, let's say that, so we're not going to unit test anything in this video, because we're just talking about sort of the motivation behind these things called, or rather, the idea of making mutable classes. Okay? So let's say we want to create a point like so. We'll say it has coordinates 3, 4. And, we could get the x coordinate and the y coordinate as follows, but we can't just change it directly because this is a private attribute. What we can do is write something called a mutator method. A mutator method receives generally one parameter and is prefixed with the word set. So these are also called setter methods. So we had accessors or getter methods. These are called mutator or setter methods. Okay? So when we want to set x, so we're going to receive a value for x, and then we're going to say this dot x equals x. Okay? These methods do not return anything, so their only purpose is to have a side effect of changing the value of the instance variable. Okay? So that's how we do it. So now we can say p.setx, and let's say we want to change the x coordinate to be 42, and let's say we want to change the y coordinate to be 10. Okay? So what we can now do, let's just say we want to print out the two-string representation of before and after we make the change. So if we do that, then we will see that we will test the wrong file because I forgot to change it. So what happens here? We see that before we make the change, the x coordinate is 3, the y coordinate is 4, and then after we make the change, the instance variables are updated inside of the point instance. Okay? So mutability like this is, at least in the sense of this particular example, is pretty straightforward to understand. And in fact, it's so simple that many Java textbooks and resources just lump getters, like they teach getters and setters together. But I'd make it a point to not do that because we're trying to be as rigorous with everything in Java as we can, because mutation has some implications about it that are not always as clear especially when you have objects as instance variables of a class. And we'll see that as an example in a later video.